Nigerians, 35.5 million, are employed full-time. That's 30%.
I give you the context.
I give you the history.
I fight fake news with facts.
Kayode. No, Kayode, I will let you talk. Kayode, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Kayode.
That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in.
500,000 Lagosians.
720,000.
970,000.
Over 1 million Lagosians. They know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, all to going beyond the headlines and focusing on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. You're here alongside 1 million Lagosians, and hey, they cannot be wrong. Thanks for listening to Hard Facts. I've got a great show for you today, starting with the Big Three Global Edition. Let's talk about the death and legacy of the UK's Queen Elizabeth II. When I left the show yesterday evening, I talked about the concerns that His Majesty's government now was reporting yesterday. A lot of my journalist friends knew, at the time it happened, but everyone was waiting for official confirmation and official announcement from the royal family. So we'll talk about that a bit. I mean, Friday is the day that we let Nigeria rest, not so, and take a look at what's happening in other parts of the world. And one of the biggest stories in the world right now is the death of the Queen Elizabeth II of Britain. Then from there, let's come back to Nigeria. The CBN is not releasing all the foreign airlines money that it promised. That's our second story on Big Three Global today. Then let's talk about Russia's and Western Europe's energy standoff. At 4 o'clock, Agogo Oba will be here with Public Square. After that, Music and Moments with Ifeanyi and Sam will take the air. But let's get started with the Big Three Global Edition Lagos. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
The Big Three Global Edition on Hard Facts.
What is Elizabeth II's legacy? Will the CBN give the foreign airlines their money? Can Western Europe withstand Russia's energy squeeze? Those are your Big Three, Lagos. Let's talk. Well, Global Edition, like I said earlier on, Fridays we let Nigeria rest and we take a look at what's happening in other parts of the world. And Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom is dead. That's our first story. She died yesterday, aged 96. Her first son has succeeded her on the throne as King Charles III. Elizabeth was queen for 70 years. That's the second longest reign over a sovereign nation in recorded history, because she came to the throne in 1952 and she reigned over the end of the British Empire. Britain lost all its colonies in Africa and Asia while she was queen. But because of that history, there's a debate raging across the black world over how her legacy should be seen. You have those who see her as a symbol of colonialism. British conquest was often harsh and oppressive, with lots of war crimes, lots of crimes against humanity. Critics say that as monarchs, she represents those actions. Others say she cannot be blamed for the policies of the British government, since she herself had no role in setting those policies. She was a constitutional monarch, a figurehead, just like our traditional rulers here in Nigeria. But in response to that, critics will say that she was a willing figurehead. If you agree to be the symbol of an institution, then are you not agreeing to all the actions the institution takes? But beyond her legacy, I want us to talk about how the British view their monarchy versus how we view our own monarchy. The tributes have started coming in. The ceremonies are starting, and the tributes are coming in from all over the world. You have tributes from Rome, from America, from France, from the Commonwealth nations. Everyone's saying something. Today, Charles III will be proclaimed king in London. There's already a lot of fanfare surrounding his death and succession, surrounding this particular death and succession, not Charles's death. We've talked in the past about how much money the UK makes from the royal family through tourism because of the branding around the royal family. And it's because of how much they've gotten the whole world to care about their royal family, including the big three global. And my question is how? How did the British get the world to care so much about their monarchy? Is it just a legacy of colonization because they colonized an insane amount of the world? Because colonization has been over for 6 decades. So is it just a legacy of colonization? And even in countries that were not colonized by them or were independent centuries ago, there's still a fascination about the British monarchy. So is it because of something else? Perhaps because of how much care and attention and focus the British themselves dedicate to the institution? Is it because of the work that they keep putting into branding and rebranding year after year after year? I honestly thought that the Queen of England would outlive me, so I was a bit shocked to hear of her passing, to be honest, because she's been alive for so long. You know what I'm saying? Lagos, join the conversation. 0700-993-993. What's your view of Elizabeth II's legacy? And why do you think the British royal family has managed to be such a powerful global brand? By the way, the BBC shared something that I found very amazing. The first Prime Minister to serve Queen Elizabeth, Winston Churchill, was born in 1874. The latest Prime Minister that, served the Queen, Liz Truss, was born 101 years later in 1975. So see why I thought that Queen Elizabeth will outlive all of us. 0700-993-993 Lagos, let's talk. Hello, thank you for calling us.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, Gabriel from Ikoyi.
Welcome, Gabriel.
Let me say the Queen able to live so long in that post because he was just 26 years old when he get to that position.
25.
Around 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
It's a grace. They have the best medical life, also better life.
Okay.
Which the Commonwealth saluting is a good wonder. Good afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon, Gabriel. Thank you very much for calling. 99.3. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Sandra Ezekwesili.
Good to have you on the show, Kevin. Welcome.
Well, I was not shocked when I heard the news at 96. I can't be shocked now. No, I can't be shocked.
I know.
He lived well. It's an end of an era.
It really is.
Yes,
It
and
really is.
the world is going to see a lot of changes in terms of holidays, in terms of the currencies, and even the national anthem of the Great Britain. A lot of changes are going to take place. She was not tired of the job. She was in the job.
Yeah.
She was strong. She never complained of being tired of the job like some people we know who say they are tired of the job, yet they will not resign.
But there's no real job she's doing now. It's just to shake hand and travel.
A woman that is head of state for 15 or how many countries, for almost 54 countries.
Ceremonial now.
You know me, she still be the head of state of all those countries. And she traveled wide.
Yeah, she did.
The woman I've been watching lots of documentaries since last night.
Yeah.
She met lots of people.
Yeah.
I saw when she was having cheers with Nelson Mandela and some other people. Most of the things that some of the tweets I've read from my people, blaming her and all that, most of those things, I've said it, some of those things predates her. Most of those things predates her. And the new Prince Charles, King Charles.
King Charles, please.
I think I will be used to saying that. King Charles has a lot of challenges, how to manage the royal family, the country as a whole. And you could see that during her time, the Commonwealth expanded. Some other countries that was not colonized by the Great Britain started joining the Commonwealth. I had the respected American earlier today, emphasize on most of those things. And our children must know, since they have removed history, I heard some schools are bringing it back, that the first person to win, the first athlete to win a gold medal in the Commonwealth was our only Ife Juna. We must know that because the man was involved in the Biafra war. I don't know how they moved that from the history books. So, may her soul rest in peace. My condolences to the royal family and to the Great Britain as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling, Kevin. 99.3. Hello.
Good afternoon, Lady Sandra.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome.
How are you today?
I'm very well. What's your name, sir?
My name is Prince Wyatt, calling you from Amuwater.
Welcome, Prince Wyatt. Go ahead.
Thank you, my dear. I think, this woman, thank God for her.
Okay.
Very popular woman. Is she not the one that handed our flat to us in 1960? She's the one, Abby.
That did what? The one that did what?
I think she's the one who had the flag to Nigeria government.
Yes.
She's the one. So it is very long, it's a very long, but it's the head of Commonwealth country, and their role as head of government in Britain. It's just a ceremonial now. And he had no certain power to dictate. No, so?
Yes, she didn't really have power to dictate, but it was ceremonial.
Like normal will be emir in Nigeria.
Like Oni.
But
remember, I was asking, why does the world care so much about the Queen of England and the British monarchy in the way they don't care about the Oni of Ife?
When you people, they colonize Nigeria, they colonize some other countries. The Commonwealth today, whether they are 50 countries or 50 countries, see the head of the Commonwealth in the government. That's how it is. That's why she's so popular. And when I never see her one day talking rubbish, you never hear anything bad about her. So today, that's why people are celebrating her.
All right, Prince Wyatt, thank you very much for calling. Well, we heard a few bad things about her, especially during Princess Diana and King Charles' marriage and that entire situation. But let's not get into all of that at the moment. If you just tuned in, hello to you. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Every Friday, we take a break from Nigerian stories and we look at what's happening in other parts of the world. And there's no bigger story than the death of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. She died yesterday, aged 96. Her first son has succeeded her on the throne as King Charles III. She was queen for 70 years. She's the longest, second longest monarch over a sovereign nation in recorded history. She came to the throne in 1952, reigned over the end of the British Empire. You have those who see her, and this is something I mentioned earlier on, you have those who see her as a symbol of colonialism. They say that as a monarch, she represented the actions of British conquest, for instance. And you think about the things that the British did during colonialism, a lot of it was really harsh. A lot of it was really oppressive. A lot of it are war crimes, A lot of it are crimes against humanity. And so some people say that as the monarch, as the as the Queen of England, that the nation that committed these atrocities, or the empire that committed these atrocities all across Africa and Asia, she represented those actions. And then you have those who say, well, I mean, she wasn't in charge. She was a constitutional monarch. She was a figurehead. She was essentially like the Baale of Lagos. You can't blame the Baale of Lagos, for instance, for the Lekki toll gate massacre, But the critics will say, she was a willing figurehead. If you agree to be the symbol of an institution, then are you not agreeing to all the actions that the institution takes? I want to hear what you think about that argument. It's an argument that is raging right now on social media since the world heard that she has died. By the way, where were you when you heard? I like to ask people that question when really famous people die. So, for instance, when Prince died, I asked that question. When Michael Jackson died, I asked that question. When Whitney Houston died, I asked that question. I wasn't on radio when Fela died, so I couldn't ask that question about Fela. But I am asking that question about Queen Elizabeth II. Where were you when you found out? What were you doing when you found out? Were you pooping? Were you at work? Were you eating? Were you dancing? Were you driving? What were you doing? Where were you when you found out about the death of Queen Elizabeth II? She's been alive for as long as most people who are listening to this show right now. She's been alive for that long. So she kind of is, a part of our lived experiences. But do you realize how many historical things that you have been a part of that have happened within the last 10 years? That so much history has happened. My God, it's mind-blowing, isn't it? Like, for people who were born in the 90s, they've been part of so much history, it's ridiculous. Only you people, pandemic year. Only you people, the death of Queen Elizabeth. Only you people, what's the name of these basketballer that died? Mamba. Oh my God, what's his name now? What's his name? Do you remember his name? The Kobe, yes. Kobe Bryant. Prince, Michael Jackson. Tupac, Biggie Smalls. You like there's so much history that people have experienced between 1990 up until date, and within the past 4 years, so many historical stuff has happened. The kind of things that happen like that happen like once in 10 years or twice in 30 years. All of them seem to have been packed into like 4 years, and we're all just like, by the time we are great grandparents, the kind of stories we'll tell our great grandkids, they won't believe us. They'll say, nah, you're lying, you're making things up, because like so much has happened. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my questions for you for the first story. For the first story, I'm also asking what you think the reason is for the kind of attention the British monarchy gets. Like, you compare the British monarchy versus Nigerian monarchy or African monarchy, right? Why do you think, in your opinion, why do you think that they have been able to get the world to care so much about their monarchy? How did they do it, in your opinion? I remember I asked you before the break, do you think it's just because, they colonized a large chunk of the world? But colonization has still been over for a while now. And I'm also asking, do you think it's maybe because of the amount of care and attention and focus British people themselves have dedicated to that particular institution? Is it because of the work that they keep into rebranding and branding their monarchy year after year? Why have they managed, the British royal family, why have they managed to be such a powerful global brand for so long? Before you answer that question, I've got information that I need to share with you. Yes?
Yes. Talking about care and showing love and everything. I just got a news today, or I found out something today that the reality of it is still very shocking to me. And guys, do you know that there are more than 3.2 million people who are internally displaced in Nigeria? I mean, these people don't have food, They have no shelter and no means of livelihood to rebuild their life. Like, consisting of men, women, and children. Oh, they have fled their homes because of maybe conflicts, violence, and banditry. I mean, you can relate with that, right? I don't know. I know that yes, there's that situation in Nigeria, but over 3.2 million people in this kind of situation. But we thank God for IDP camps. I mean, internally displaced persons camp now. They have found safety there, but they've also lost everything they have. And so they need to rebuild. They need to have confidence again. Do you know what I mean? Now, we Nigerians, we have to take action to support our own fellow displaced Nigerians. And that's why we have the UNHCR. The UN Refugee Agency is the lead organization on the ground right now, providing life-saving support to IDPs. And you can also help them to reach more IDP families by donating. I mean, yes, if you really want to do that. I saw a quote about when you give, you don't actually lose, but you get more. I mean, it can sound so cliche, but it's the truth. There are two ways you can do that. If you want to support or show love or show your own kind of care, you can support these vulnerable IDPs in Nigeria by donating to UNHCR. To donate, all you have to do is visit donate.unhcr.org/Africa. That's donate.unhcr.org/Africa. Or if you want to do a direct bank transfer, that's actually very perfect too. The account name is UNHCR Special Account. The account number is 000-270-6104. 000-270-6104. And the bank name is Standard Chartered Bank. Thank you.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Let's hear it from the brand builders, brand enthusiasts, brand promoters, and brand heroes. The 2022 edition of Marketing Edge Awards and Marketing Summit honors outstanding marketing professionals as a 2-in-1 epoch-making event which holds on Friday, September 16th, 2022. Guest speakers at the Marketing Summit, Mrs. Tolulope Adedeji, Marketing Director AB InBev West Africa, and Mr. Emeka Okeke, Founder and CEO, Media Fuse Densu. Special guest of honor, Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sonwo-Olu, Executive Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun. Venue, Harbour Point Hall, Victoria Island. Time, 5 p.m. prompt. Marketing Edge, promoting the brand idea.
When person suppose chop, which kind of food? They say no test before you marry.
I go test. Even the day of my wedding, I go test before I go church. They just won't keep eating.
So I just want to say about this section of the church.
I will test before I buy.
Even if it is me, I will test too. Test and test and test and test again.
That full cost meal you want chop.
This one I read better talk.
Join us, Talk Better Talk, every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for 7 p.m. on Top Wazobia TV and Wazobia Max TV, UHF 57, DSTV 259, GoTV 98, and Star Times 195.
The #1 talk station of Lagos.
Join the conversation online or on the go. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM
and Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos.
And watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Be part of the Info family.
Log on to nigeriainfo.fm on our mobile app and website.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Star 997. To keep your money, you don't need to worry. Them no go fit to scam you.
I stand with the relation story. If you're going to the Airlines, but Nigeria owing the airline for one and release the box, people I whisper and would hear. And see, I say it was half a man, 2 members, they are actually, where the fucking said they have to buy. So now, air prices. Or a suit or a friends when I was ranges and said that for the price and the it was to bring 405 but like probably like this 20 rates, but that's only China in holding fast to try to go from a last you have to find
What about the situation? What do you think about the CB first saying that they would bring $265 million for the airlines to manage, only to bring half? We're hearing that out of this first release, some airlines are not getting any cash at all. What do you think about the airlines allegedly hiking their ticket prices to make up for the increased risk? And what do you think about the effects on Nigerians who want to travel? You can still talk to me about Queen Elizabeth II, her death, her legacy, and those who say that they think she represents the atrocities that colonization came with, and those who say no, she was simply a figurehead. You cannot blame her for those atrocities. And also, I was asking with the first story, why do you think the world cares so much about the British monarchy? In a way, they don't care about an Olu of Warri, for instance. 0700-993-993. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Hello. Thanks for calling us. Hello. There's nobody there. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir?
Sandra.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm okay.
What's your name?
Mr. Darlington.
Mr. Darlington. Where did you disappear to?
In fact, to get you now, I had to apply to God.
Well, we're glad God answered your prayer today. Welcome. What story do you want to talk about?
I will report it to Mbala Barago. That he will take ancestors to warn you.
To warn me to pick your call. I think he answered. Talk to me. What story do you want to talk about?
Sandra. Sincerely, whatever attention the British monarchy is getting from the press, especially we in Africa, we celebrate our oppressors. I don't know why.
Okay.
Remember that this woman was the head of the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Or they are still, because the king has taken over from the queen. And the operation and the injustice continues. Whatever we are going through today in Nigeria was caused by those people. They did it deliberately. So why should we be celebrating such a character? You will say that she was not there, but it's her family. The biggest humanitarian injustice happened in Britain. Slave trade. Slave trade is Sandra. America woke up one day and said the queen will never be their head. They pull out of the Commonwealth, even though Britain colonized them. Why can't Africa, especially Nigeria, why can't we? A woman died somewhere. Is she the mother of God? We'll be asking, where was I? I was enjoying myself. I was enjoying myself. Where was I when she died? What happened? Is she the mother of God? These are the issues we are talking about. When you begin to celebrate your oppressor, it means that you are suffering from Stockholm syndrome. Under normal circumstances, we should not be happy with Britain because they have sustained this injustice in Nigeria. They have. Up to tomorrow, they still preside over our affairs.
What do you think about those who say that she was? What do you think about those who say that she was simply a figurehead? So you can't blame her for the atrocities of Britain.
What are you saying? A figure what?
A figurehead.
Which figurehead?
She didn't have any power now. She was a constitutional monarch.
Wears a lot of power.
She was actually
over Britain and over the Commonwealth.
No,
not a figurehead though.
She actually literally was a figurehead.
I don't think so.
I know
the family is controlled almost half of the wealth of Britain. So what do you mean by figurehead? This injustice that happened to the trade.
Any injustice that happened was supervised by whoever was prime minister in the UK.
No. The family, she benefited from it. That's why she's the queen. She benefited from it.
Okay.
Nigeria is 62 years, and she ran for self. That means she was there during Nigerian independence. She presided over the loop-sidedness in our politics in this country. She was part of it. So what are you telling me? They did this evil to us. So you cannot exonerate her.
Okay.
They have done this all over Commonwealth countries. They That is the truth.
All right.
Sandra, on MFL and the $265 million, have you seen what happens when government does not have any trust in them? How can any foreign investment come into this country with this type of behavior? How can? No, tell me. Tomorrow they'll be telling you how they have brought so many people into this country, this and that. After the PIA, we were expecting foreign direct inflow into Nigeria, but since that time, has any oil company entered Nigeria? Even instead, they are pulling out. They are pulling out because there's no sincerity in this government. That's the truth.
All right, Darlington, thank you very much for calling to share your thoughts. We've got so many people calling. Let's talk to them. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Abdi. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine.
What's your name?
So, I want to talk on Queen Elizabeth death. Am I free?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay. So, to me, I believe that because the way I see her, I know that she's a person where everybody where everybody believe that she's a righteous one. As in what I mean, when we are small, maybe somebody did evil to you and you are trying to complain. Why did you do this? The person will tell you that for what? What are you telling me? You mean I should come and worship you as what? As God or as Queen Elizabeth? Everyone believes that her rank is bigger than every other person on earth.
Okay.
So, but there's something I want you to clarify me. Her husband, is her husband a king? Because I don't used to hear her husband's name. But all I know is Queen Elizabeth.
No, her husband was not a king. Her husband was the Queen's consort. So when you're just the husband of the Queen, that's it. The person that is the Queen is the Queen. So now King Charles's wife is not a queen in the way that Queen Elizabeth was queen. She is she's Queen consort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for calling. We've got messages on WhatsApp. We've got this one that is anonymous and says, Sandra, anything concerning the West, we want to jump on it as the best. I want people to just oppose the merits and demerits we derive from the institutions she represents, our colonial masters. Let me ask, how do we hold our own prominent good people when they pass on? Living for 89 years is a landmark, and may her soul rest in peace. 96 years, actually. Please, I beg, this talk of her being a figurehead doesn't add up. Like, you mean she has no influence in the affairs of Britain and the world? Do you know how much would be spent to change and do a transfer to suit the new face of England? Currency, documents, etc., and yet someone will tell me that they are figureheads with no impact. Have you seen the protocols that follows after the death of the king? I beg, let's perish the thought of her just being a figurehead. People should stop comparing her role with that of Oshimbajo and Buhari. Okay. Peter Yorinde says, Madam Sandra, the death of Queen Elizabeth II is what we call in Nigeria celebration of life. On the street, cows will tumble and fall for such an occasion. I don't think she's a symbol of colonization compared with similar foreign occupations. The British has been most liberal of them all. The French, the Chinese, the American occupations of countries are all more dictatorial and more involved and whip-holding than British style, despite being the largest empire. Let's not forget that the sun never sets on their empire. Well, they did really terrible things. So Kenyans and South Africans will tell you that British colonization, it really showed them pepper. Do you realize that when colonial masters were here in Nigeria, in Lagos, even this Lagos, you needed a pass to be around some parts of Ikoyi? You needed visa to be in some parts in Kenya when they were there. As in, you as a Kenya, you need visa for your own, to move around in your own country. They did really terrible things. But back to Peter's message. Peter says, it was during the Queen Elizabeth II's reign that 99% of all colonies got their independence, and they got it entirely. They gave the independence even to their detriment because they became somewhat subservient to the American nations and EU until Brexit. And I cringed during Brexit because I believe UK didn't leverage on the Commonwealth as much as US, Spain, Portugal, China and France are milking from their affiliates. You know that France technically lives on the resources from African colonies up until today. That's true. The Queen truly gave full independence as far as I'm concerned, compared with other superpowers. I remember her physical presence during every independence ceremony of her colonies. To me, will Nigerians alive then and now say Nigeria is better under their own political rule or around the 50s to 60s? Africans blaming the UK for underdevelopment need to look at themselves, look over the window at other Commonwealth countries all around the world. Are they all having the same development index and decay like Nigeria? Nigerians, let's stop blaming our childhood bully in the time of our adulthood. All right. Great message there. Thank you very much for your message, Peter. Let me come back to the phone lines. 99.3. Hello.
Sorry, I have to move away from listening.
It's okay. Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is actually first. You said she doesn't have power. She's just like a figurehead.
She's a figurehead. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I accept that. Okay. Do you know his own the people that guide him and his convoy is even more than the president of America?
Who? The Queen?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you need to check it.
Okay.
It's not for mouth. The power that Queen will. Can that their, what do they call it?
Prime Minister. Yes. Yes, that she has long convoy. That was just for the packaging and the branding.
That tell them to leave the seat the way they do here in Nigeria.
Can the Prime Minister tell what?
Close to that. Can he tell the Queen now, or like we don't want a queen anymore in this country? Can the Prime Minister try so?
Yes, they can constitute. They can constitute. They can. So. They can. No, I'm serious. It can happen.
Africa. It can happen.
They can trigger processes that take her out of that seat.
I don't think so.
These are PMs that used to behead former kings. Oh.
I don't think so.
In the past, they have beheaded their kings. Oh.
I don't think he can. He's still the president, even despite the Prime Minister. He is the president there. Move pull all this mountain what they talk.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. I'm being very honest with you, but okay. We've got this message here. Sandra, have you mentioned those items recovered? No, I didn't talk about that, but thank you very much. That's Sandra calling her death a celebration of. I call her death a celebration of well spent life, but she said her husband was not a king. Can we have a queen without a king? Yes, her husband was a prince. He was prince consort. That's what Britain calls the husband of a queen. And now that they have a king, the wife is called queen consort. She was initially going to be princess consort, but King Charles III, spoke with his mother, and the mother agreed that Camilla will be called queen consort. Fido from Aja says Nigerians should stop picking up blame games on the late queen. We should know that if our leaders have agreed to neglect the leadings or influence from the queen, will be better countries. If she no die, we'll be pointing fingers today. I beg Nigerians should grow up. Hope from Moe says, President Sandra, I was shocked when the Queen passed away, although I expected it. The British monarchy today is as a result of branding. Is the Queen the cause of Britain's crisis or Nigeria's crisis today? We need to forget the past and move on. All right. Now, let me bring you our final story. Remember, Fridays, we let Nigeria rest and we take a look at what's happening in other parts of the world. And our third story is the standoff between Russia and Western Europe over energy. Now, you know the backstory. Russia invaded Ukraine. The West imposed sanctions on Russia. Russia reduced gas supplies to Europe. That's the backstory. That gas cut is pinching. In the UK, in Germany, in other rich Western European states, energy prices are rising. Electricity bills are going up. Winter is coming. When energy use goes up because of heating, so governments are worried that their people will not be able to keep warm through the winter. There could be a serious humanitarian crisis on their hands. So those of you who have family members living in Europe and, America, living in the West, really, you have to be really considerate when you're asking them for money for things, because things are really, really hard right now for them. But anyways, the EU is saying they're going to take action. Well, they are trying to take action. They've announced a plan to handle the crisis. The first part is to reduce demand. They want to put their people on energy rations going forward. So suddenly the West is starting to look a lot like the developing world, with caps on how much power people and businesses can use. They're doing that in South Africa, and South Africans are not finding it funny at all. So that's the first plan. Then the EU wants to put a cap on what it pays Russia for energy, because Russia is still supplying the EU with gas. Russia hasn't off the tap completely, just mostly off the tap. So the EU is saying that if Russia doesn't restore complete supply, they'll reduce the price that they pay for the reduced supply. Vladimir Putin says the EU should try it. If they bond them well, may they try it. And the last thing the EU is doing is turning back to fossil fuels. Germany is switching coal plants back on, for example. Nuclear is not a fossil fuel, but many European states were not very keen to use it. Now that's changing. France is doubling down on nuclear. But I wonder if you think these moves will be enough. Or do you think it will be too little too late? Can the EU withstand Russia's energy squeeze? Or will they bend the knee on Ukraine? 0700-993-993-993. Now, of course, you can share more of your messages with us on WhatsApp 080-959-75805. And you can definitely talk about all three stories that we've shared on the show today. 99.3, hello.
Hello.
Good to have you on the show.
For defense.
Welcome, Achike.
Firstly, let me congratulate you on the just concluded I beg to differ.
Thank you.
Sandra, the girl try, but say to say another girl win. They for talk say, what you they run now, Sandra and the coven of witches. You see all these youths who like glass ceiling, they all come, you go here all in the whole. But finally, my preferred candidate is the rebuttal Sultana herself. So, in the one of Queen Elizabeth, Sandra, as much as she's a figurehead, figureheads are very powerful. I don't know, you watched Vikings to the end. Then I don't know if you watch this whole movie, El Cid, where you see where they are best warrior, even when he's there, he'll be like, put me on the horse, just let them see me. A symbol is a very powerful thing, but let me say I'll give her like 60-40, 60 positive, then 40 on the negative. Because as I said, a willing figurehead, if we give her a free pass, we have to give everybody in that situation a free pass. It's just like in here, a certain person running for presidential candidacy. You cannot claim the victory of two other people, but separate yourself from another person when you follow to promote the particular thing. That's just how it is.
Achike, bye.
It is airport own. I'm not sure already. Then put in an EU, put in the play terms, try me for that. I believe that if the EU are serious, let them bring money. Select like 2 African countries. How many people are under the EU? You will be under contract, 2 engineering countries within a year. If they are serious, they can build even if it's 2 glass plants in Africa. If they are serious, there's enough countries in the EU to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for calling, Achike. Nathaniel Sampson on Facebook says, the Queen is responsible for South Africa and Kenyan genocides and the exploitation of many African countries, including Nigeria. England still owes us an apology, sorry. All right, Nathaniel. Here's a message from Ade in Surulere. Ade says, I lived in the UK for over 40 years. Her convoy moving around has never been up to 10% of the comedy our political leaders, politicians, and government office holders go around in. Even Agberos have police escorts in Nigeria. Is that normal? It's amazing how people who have never boarded an aeroplane can argue about things going on in other countries that they know nothing about. And when you're speaking of the Queen's convoy, it's only when there's like a ceremony, because she drives herself. Like, most of the time you see her driving her own motor by herself, The only time you see the long, ridiculous convoys, it's for ceremonies. Ade also says, I was in a meeting at my London office when I heard the sad news yesterday. Very, very sad news. She was the epitome of history and stability. The British people treasured the institution religiously, and she played a major part in preserving their history. This may be a very tall order for King Charles III, but this is the real Emile Khan. Not the fake ones. Our government and political leaders and politicians practice in Nigeria. It's very illegal and unconstitutional to hold her responsible for an atrocity committed anywhere under the international laws. Anyone accusing her of anything should be very careful and needs to consult international lawyers before coming up with anything. We shouldn't blame her for our terrible governance. She was a ceremonial leader and constitutional figurehead. About the foreign airlines, it shows the insincerity on the part of the government. Ade, always a pleasure to read from you. Thank you very much. Here's a message from Prince Naja, who says, the UK puts so much importance on their queen because they practice common language, common religion, and they practice a monarch system, which makes the family only king entitlement. Prince, that's not true. They don't practice a monarch system anymore. It's constitutional. Constitutional means you don't get any power. It's mostly there now as a source of tourist attraction, to be honest with you, as a source of tourist attraction and to keep an important piece of their history alive. That's what the monarchy is still there for, right? So don't go and say outside that they practice monarch system. People will laugh at you. Wahid from Yaba says, no one should tell me Queen Elizabeth was just a figurehead. It will take the parliament majority vote to remove the British Prime Minister, but the Queen alone can remove the British Prime Minister. That is how powerful she was. Again, not true, but thank you for your message. Let's take a break. When we come back from this break, well, it is true that you need like the entire that you need a majority vote to remove a prime minister in the parliament, but it's not true that the Queen alone can remove a prime minister. I feel like we need to do a crash course on this situation, but that's all the time I have.
Bro, you know one thing I love about us Nigerians? We're a very hardworking set of people. See small businesses everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone is an entrepreneur or as a side hustle, like me.
Yes, but it seems the major problem people have is finding office space.
Look at my e-commerce business. I have been making deliveries from home and now it has become an issue with my roommates.
Let Enterprise Hubs help you out. Enterprise Hubs is a one-stop center that supports growing businesses. With Enterprise Hubs, you can have a service office or a co-working space or even meeting rooms. It's in Victoria Island, Lagos, Asukoro in Abuja, in Kano, and also in Port Harcourt for affordable rates. So find out all you need on www.enterprisehubs.com or email them on info@enterprisehubs.com.
You can also call 0906 000 9685.
So stop stressing yourself. Call Enterprise Hubs, where entrepreneurs go to grow.
Wait, Tinu, that voice sounds like Kemi's voice now.
Of course it is. Kemi is now a radio host. I listen to her every day and her programs are quite interesting.
How come? Is it not the same Kemi that hangs out with us in the
She's no longer in your league. Me too, I'll upgrade and become a filmmaker.
What is going on now? You guys are not my friends though. Now they tell me things, waiting they soft now.
Oh yeah, listen to waiting they soft. Now you Kemi they talk so.
Now you can learn new skills in the creative and cultural industries on Wazobia Academy, an innovative, accessible, and professional online training platform for individuals with keen interest in audiovisuals and media professions. You can now become a professional in the music industry in series writing, filmmaking, fashion, or an on-air personality like me. Simply log on to www.wazobia.academy or download the Wazobia Academy app from the Google Play stores or iOS to see more details of online courses and registration. Wazobia Academy. Learn and lead.
Let's hear it from the brand builders, brand enthusiasts, brand promoters, and brand heroes. The 2022 edition of Marketing Edge Awards and Marketing Summit honors outstanding marketing professionals as a 2-in-1 epoch-making event, which holds on Friday, September 16th, 2022. Guest speakers at the Marketing Summit, Mrs. Tolulope Adedeji, Marketing Director AB InBev.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those. Those that need to be fired are fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not.